Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Black Monster Cup Winter Season 2014. This is week 2 of our playoffs, and we're in the quarterfinals between Dark Passage and Sample Text. Dark Passage convincingly taking game 1. If you've just joined us, my name is Munchables, and casting with me today is Sigilus. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. That last game was really nicely played by Dark Passage. They had a commanding lead for almost the entire game, and I touched on it in the wrap-up for the last game, but if anyone's just joining us, Elwyn had such a good performance on Malphite. I believe he was 5-0 in the end, and just set up so many plays for his team. It was crazy. But let's get into this game. It's a new game. There's a good chance for Sample Text to try and bring this back to 1-1, try and continue to that third game. At the moment, the bans that have came out so far are Gnar, Jace, Warwick, Azir, Zed, and Irelia. Now, Irelia makes a lot of sense to be banned here this time, coming out of Sample Text. Obviously, last time they were on Blue's side, so they were able to pick that up for Ishikawa. However, this time, they're on Red's side, and they don't want to give that over to Elwyn. Elwyn has shown himself to be an excellent Irelia player in past matches, and I'm not surprised at all that they decided to deny that pick. First pick coming out, Pantheon being picked up by Dark Passage. Last game we saw Crystal do a really nice job on that pick. Didn't make that many plays in the super early game, but in conjunction with the teleport of Elwyn, he made a lot happen as we went to middle game.
Yeah, definitely, and I like that they banned out this Irelia. I mean, Elwyn did incredibly well in that top lane against Irelia last game as Malphite. So, I mean, if he can go even / kind of win lane a bit as Malphite against Irelia, imagine what he can do with Irelia in his hands. But this bottom lane getting locked in, Lucian and Thresh, an incredibly strong lane. What would you say Dark Passage need to pick up in that bot lane to go against that?
I actually think what they were hovering over just there, or even this, is a really good alternative. Basically, Lucian's Thresh has a decent amount of trading potential because Lucian has quite good range. The Piercing Light can actually hit you if you use it on a minion to last hit. It's a very obnoxious poke, and then once you've poked them down a little bit, Thresh can, flay, Death Sentence, Dark Passage in for a gank. It's very strong at fighting early on. By picking up the Nami and the Corki, they're protecting themselves against a lot of that strength. Nami has a lot of utility in the bottom lane, can stop those engagements by using her bubble in order to stop stuff from happening. She can also use her ebb and flow to keep the health values high on both on both Padden and Velastraza. So I think that is a really nice spot lane to go up against it. They don't necessarily have quite the same trade potential early on unless you're landing those phosphorus bombs. However, as the game progresses, the auto attacks coming out of Naru with that buff from, the auto attacks coming out from Padden with the buff from Velastraza is going to be doing a lot of damage, and they're definitely going to be able to fight up 2v2 against Pa and Grom. Looking at some of the other picks that are coming up now, Sebix going again for that Syndra. It didn't really work that well last game. Actually lost, a few times 1 versus 1 against Naru. So this is likely going to be the same matchup if Padden locks in that Ahri for Naru here. And he really needs to do a little bit better in the 1v1 this time to make that work. Pa, however, locking in Lee Sin again for Kanzi-san. This composition is very similar to the last one coming out of Sample Text. I think they want to try it again.
Yeah, that Syndra pickup from Sebix is very brave. Like, going straight into that same matchup as last game. I'm excited to see how this one pans out. If Sebix is able to make a miracle comeback up against Naru, see if he's able to beat him out in lane this time. I hope so. I hope we see a big matchup in this mid lane and a bit of a battle for power, but we'll have to see if he's able to do that at all. And hovering over a Riven right now.
Yeah, he's actually swapped it up to a Malphite for now. Still hasn't been locked in, but he's considering it. And obviously, at the moment, he's going to be up against Elwyn's Jax, which is really interesting. I mean, we haven't had a chance to touch on this yet, but Jax is not a champion we've seen a great deal of recently. He kind of fell out of favor a while ago, Renekton being the final lock-in, actually, for Sample Text. So that top lane is fairly old school. We haven't seen that matchup in a while. Both Renekton and Jax falling out of popularity in the last season of play, but now it's 4.20. It's time for a new metagame to emerge, and it looks like these players are kind of harking back to an earlier one for inspiration. Renekton versus Jax is something we used to see a lot. Obviously, Renekton has a really dominating early game. That's one of the reasons you used to see him picked up a lot, and when it comes to team fights later in the game, he does fall off a little bit. The advantages to Renekton in the late game is that you have that armor shred. He's fairly mobile. He also has the ability to land that stun, which is quite strong. Jax, on the other side, is one of the biggest hyper carries the later the game gets. He just gets so much damage, especially scaling with attack speed. He has both his passive and the passive on his ultimate that make use of that. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can do well in this lane, though, against Renekton, who is such a lane bully.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how this pans out. This is one of my favourite things about when we head into a new season or there's a big patch that changes a lot of things, is that we get to see these shifts in the meta. Like, for example, Renekton coming back into play. We haven't seen him since the start of Season 3, really. I mean, about halfway through Season 3, people just stopped playing him because he just couldn't deal with the other champions that were in the meta at the time. And as well, Pantheon Jungle recently come back into the meta as well. That it sort of fell off towards just before Worlds. People really stopped playing it a little bit, but we are going to see that come back. So I'm very excited to see these. I don't want to say off meta because I really feel like the meta isn't particularly solidified at the minute, but these different picks.
Yeah, I am as well. They are certainly different than what we've been seeing recently, and I would agree with you. They're not necessarily off meta. Obviously, there's not a firm meta in place right now, but they are unconventional, let's say, and it's going to be a very exciting game. We are going to head into a music break now, but stay tuned because we're going to be back with the second game of Dark Passage versus Sample Text. Dark Passage up 1-0 at the moment. It's going to be a great one.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Black Monster Cup Winter Season 2014. We're here at the quarterfinals between Dark Passage and Sample Text. Dark Passage picking up a convincing victory in our first game, and this is going to be our second game of the series. My name, if you've just joined us, is Munchables, and casting with me is Asigalus. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, and I'm looking forward to getting into the second game. Last game, as you said, was very convincingly won by Dark Passage. Only 4 kills went to Sample Text by the end of it, I believe. So they really just did not give any kind of an edge over to Sample Text. Made it very difficult for them to come back. And if we look at the team compositions of both of our, our quarterfinalists here, the team composition coming out of Sample Text is very, very similar to the one that we saw last game. They've got the same middle lane and jungle. The primary difference here is that in the top lane they're running a Renekton, which is a very interesting pick. It's not something we've seen a lot recently. On the flip side, though, Dark Passage doing something interesting themselves. They've got Jax up in that top lane.
Yeah, and I like that he's gone back to pick up a 4th pot as well, deciding to recall as the minions spawn just to get that little bit of extra gold. And again, we're going to see this blue side looking to try and start on the golems, but
denied.
Dark Passage know all about this, throwing the ward down and just not going to let that happen.
Yeah, that was actually very smart. Last game, Dark Passage's bot lane actually did win out regardless of that Krug advantage. The bot lane actually wasn't doing very well for Dark Passage, even though they got that Krug advantage until they had a gank come their way and secure them an early kill. Top lane, Elwind getting some early damage with that Counter-Strike. It's a good pickup first. And actually, oh wow, Velostraza getting flayed in there, but doing good damage back to Grom. That was a very nice play by the bottom lane of Sample Text. Mid lane, Sevex is doing actually less well early than he was last game. Last game, Sevex put a lot of pressure down on Naru to begin with, but as Naru leveled up a little bit more, she returned that pressure. This game, Sevex isn't actually even landing pressure early on, so if we look at last game and extrapolate forwards, we can expect Naru to do really well in that lane if Sevex doesn't, up her game a little bit.
Yeah, we'll have to see if he's able to do that. And taking a look as well at this top lane, we're seeing Shikava doing a very, very good job, but that's exactly what you would expect in that Renekton versus Jax lane, obviously. Renekton renowned for having an incredibly strong early game. We see Sevex trying to go aggressive in that mid lane, but not able to land the Scatter the Weak stun there.
Yeah, had he landed that, he would have done a lot of harassment onto Naru, but unfortunately, after missing it, all that's resulted is that he's used a lot of his mana for no gain. And Sevex, he has gone for these utility masteries, same as last game, so he's got the Biscuits of Regeneration rather than the health pots. So he's going to be able to regenerate some of that mana, but, you don't necessarily want to use your health regeneration just to get back some mana. And bot lane, actually, that was a nice Relentless Pursuit coming out of Pa, making sure he doesn't take too much damage out of Padden's Phosphorus Bomb there. Both the AD carries on the character that the opponent was playing last game, so we'll have to see if Padden can do a better job on Corki than Pa can. And actually, see already, Crystal's trying to get some ganks. This is actually slightly different than last game yet again. Last game, Crystal didn't really try anything too early on. He was just getting seen all the time by Kanzi-san when he tried to roam for things. This game, however, he's trying to put a little bit more pressure down. You can see he's sitting in the bushes by the lanes, trying to go for things, which, you know, if he can get them, is obviously going to be very good. Pantheon excels in that early game at ganking, and if he does get some kills, he can snowball very, very hard.
Yeah. Look at this top lane already. Jax is really starting to struggle. We can see a CS lead already starting to develop on the side of Shikava, and if he can keep this up and stop Jax reaching the late game that he so desperately wants to reach, or even just the mid game, the longer he can deny that Triforce. But actually we see Naru in a lot of trouble. There's the charm coming back across. It's not quite going to land, but a nice little trade for them. But that is going to be Naru's flash on cooldown now.
Yeah, that was really nice gank by Kanzi-san, knowing that Sevex has been struggling a little bit against Naru in that mid lane, and making it a little bit of an unfair advantage to Sevex in the 1v1 by denying that flash to Naru. So really nice job there. Actually, we see Pantheon coming in now, though.
Yeah, Sevex could be in trouble. There's going to be the Foxfire doing a little bit of damage, but not really having enough follow-up. But Belistraza actually in a bit of trouble. There goes the bubble. Ignite actually landing on the wrong target from Grom there. And that's going to mean that they don't pick up a kill in this bot lane, and no summon is used there by the blue side bot lane.
Nice job by them to actually not use any of those. Had they done that, they would have been at a greater disadvantage when it comes to later fights, and actually not using heal when you get ignited means that in the future he is definitely going to be able to get a full strength heal off without that healing reduction coming out of Ignite. So that's really solid by them. It's going to reduce a lot of the kill potential coming out of the other side. And actually, here comes Pantheon though.
Oh, a weird flash coming out from Grom. Flashes towards the opponents to dodge the bubble, but it could mean that he dies. There's the heal coming out. It's going to save his life. Padden Valkyrieing forwards, but that's not a good Valkyrie. Now Shikava is able to come down, picks up the first kill into the hands of Paw.
Yeah, that's actually a little bit of the opposite of what we saw last game. Last game, Dark Passage used that gank after a trade in the bot lane to secure themselves a lead. This time, teleport down from Ishikawa, meaning that Sample Tech's bot lane has been put in the lead. However, giving Jax free farm is not necessarily that good. They need to make the most out of every time Ishikawa goes somewhere. Whoa, flash forward!
The flash slice and dice is gonna be enough. That's gonna be Velistraza going down. Crystal Meth trying to get the stun down, but it's not gonna be enough to save his teammate. A beautiful play coming out from Shikava there.
That is exactly what I mean about if Ishikawa goes somewhere, he needs to make the most of it. If he doesn't, then the farm that Jax gets for free in the top lane, that Elwyn gets, might actually make it so that it wasn't worth it. However, getting 2 kills and a lot of damage down on the tower, forcing Crystal to come down and not actually get a kill, but just, you know, defend the tower, he's not getting experience during that. Whereas if you look over at Kanzi-san, he's sitting in his jungle, he's picking up his wolf camp, he's still getting something when Crystal is down that bot lane. So there are a lot of ways in which that went very well for Sample Text, and Jax is just going to have to try and get as much as he can in exchange.
Yeah, Sample Tech's doing a really good job so far this game, able to pull slightly ahead now. Nearly 1,500 gold ahead right now. It's not the biggest lead ever, obviously. It's gonna be a long way before they get a convincing lead. But actually, we're gonna see the kick coming in from Kanzi-san. There's the Ignite, there's the ultimate coming out from Sebex. It's not gonna be enough though. And Naru managing to walk away from the second gank in that mid lane.
Had Dark Sphere come off cooldown about half a second earlier, that would have been a dead Naru because she chose to Spirit Rush towards Sebex there, which was a very ballsy decision. Thankfully, it didn't bite her in the butt. But now Sebex is actually, you know, fairly far ahead in this middle lane now. He's ahead both in terms of gold and experience, and some of this CS is actually having to go the way of Crystal rather than dying to the tower, but it still means that Naru's not getting it. So she's going to fall further and further behind as Crystal's taking away this farm. At the moment, this is a much stronger performance coming out of Sample Text than last game. Last game, they were already very far behind. This game, they're actually slightly ahead.
Yeah, doing a really good job, and we'll have to see if they're able to snowball that into Dragon Pressure. That is going to be really important as we head in towards the sort of early mid game. And If they can get control of that first dragon, it's going to make such a big difference as they head later in the game.
That is very true. Both these teams are going to be looking to do that. Crystal, of course, can solo it very early. He hasn't decided to try that yet. Even though there aren't any wards, there is a Vision Shrine, however, which is going to be a little bit of a dissuading factor when it comes to going for that. Also, because the bot lane of his is kind of behind at the moment, and the mid lane... Oh, mid lane Naru!
Naru in a lot of trouble. Spirit Rush is not available right now. There goes the Scatter the Weak Stun. Going to take a lot of damage from that. Nice little kill picked up from Konzi-san.
Yeah, as I was saying before, you know, the bottom lane and the middle lane are behind at the moment for Dark Passage. It makes it almost impossible for Crystal to try and go for that dragon early. He's not going to have the backup there if the other lanes try to rotate to stop him. So now in this middle lane especially, Sebex with that kill up, where he only got the assist, the kill actually did go the way of Kanji-san, but he is solidly ahead in CS now. He's going to be even more ahead in CS as again the wave gets denied into the tower. It's starting to become a problem for Naru. Naru right now really needs to maybe roam to bot lane to try and pick up a kill, or try and get something with the assistance of Crystal. Crystal, in fact, might die
Crystal
here.
Meth in a lot of trouble. There's the ultimate from Sebex, and a really nice, clean 1v1 kill in that mid lane. And Sebex showing that he's going to make up for the last game.
Definitely, and actually Dragon being started off now by the side of Sample Text. They know that Crystal is not going to be around to Grand Skyfall in, try and get a smite. It's a very easy pickup for them. I can't see this being stopped. And this is really bad for Dark Passage. Sebex, who's now got the kill and the assist and CS over Naru, in addition to that Dragon buff, is going to be doing so much damage to her. Last game we saw Naru get slightly ahead, got the early DFG, and that was enough to get through the early magic resistance picked up by that Chalice and then Athene's Unholy Grail. This time, however, no DFG in sight, and there is magic resist on the side of Sebex, so it's going to be so hard for Naru to make trades in that middle lane.
I'll be interested to see if Naru does go straight for that DFG again. It already has the needlessly large rod. Looks like she might be heading towards that, but in reality, if Sebex keeps this performance up, even when Naru gets that DFG, I don't think she'll be able to win that 1v1.
She's really going to have to dodge the Scatter of the Weak stun, or maybe one of the Dark Spheres. If she doesn't dodge... Oh, hang on! Grand Skyfall on the bot lane!
Grand Skyfall coming out from Crystal Meth. That's going to land onto port. If they can stand on the lantern, no, they can't. Manages to get away on that Dark Passage, ironically.
Yeah, Dark Passage getting outplayed by their own team name. Is that a thing? I think that's not a thing. But in any case, they did a very nice job there on the side of Sample Text, getting away. The bubble was kind of delayed a bit more than it needed to be. Had it actually gone out as soon as the stun came out from Crystal, it would have overlapped nicely due to the travel time. So, not the best coordination there. Ishikawa getting engaged on the top lane. Elwin, though, might regret that, as a lot of damage goes back his way. He's getting a little bit too big for his boots, I think. Still behind in CS, even though Ishikawa decided to roam to that bottom lane to pick up those 2 kills early on. That's not a situation you want to be in. Top lane as well. Oh, man.
Yeah, there goes the kick. The Sonic Wave not going to land there. Nice flash from Elwin. Here comes Ari to save the day. The charm comes down. This is going to be the Ignite ticking onto Konzi-san, but a beautiful counter-strike is going to negate the safeguard to his ward there. But now we see Sebex coming in, trying to do what he can, but he's not going to be able to get anything off this. And a nice 2 kills picked up for Dark Passage.
This is what I was talking about, you know, Naru needing to roam to come back into this. When Sebex is that far ahead in lane, you're not going to be able to pick up a kill against her 1v1. And Ari is one of the champions that's really good at roaming due to the amount of mobility she gets from that Spirit Rush, from the very, you know, long duration and long range crowd control coming out of Charm. She's playing it exactly as she needs to right now by roaming to that top lane. And in fact, top lane is one of the best places she can roam to. Oh, hang on a second, there's a box in the bot lane. Velstraza
are actually in a lot of trouble, in a really bad spot. There goes the tidal wave onto 2 people. Shikava just used the teleport to come down here. That's going to be a kill for Konzi-san. Now Padden in a lot of trouble. Valkyrie's not going to be available. The Scar of the Week doesn't stun though, but the ultimate and the Ignite is going to be more than enough. Sebex picks up the kill onto Padden. This could well be the bot lane tower.
Yeah, that was a nice turnaround again. They knew that, you know, it was going to be difficult for Elwin to teleport in that situation because of the fact that Crystal wasn't nearby. Sebex actually wanted to get engaged on there by Naru. Didn't want it, but Naru wanted it. Unfortunately, Kanzi-san was nearby. He couldn't commit to it. Also, about that play in the bot lane, you saw Velistraza try and do something a little bit cute at the end there. She tried to go to the tower so that the kill credit would go the way of Grom rather than Ishikawa, who would be much more useful on. Unfortunately for her, Kanzi-san was there to pick that up. So, not quite as good as getting it onto Ishikawa, potentially, but still nice. Scatter the week coming in, Grand Skyfall!
Oh, the charm just missing the Grand Skyfall. Gonna come down though. That's gonna be onto Kanzi-san. He's incredibly low now. Sebex getting slowed out by Velistraza. Nice flash, gonna dodge out from that bubble. Crystal Meth is trying to catch up here. Does not have boost mobility, but there's the flash coming in. The exhaust gonna secure that kill. Elwind picking that one up in the end, and now they're trying to stop Sebex from backing. There has been the pings down. They have the ward in that bush, pretending they don't know they're there. They're gonna turn onto him. Crystal Meth jumping on here. Shikava in a lot of trouble. There's the bubble. There's the counter strike, and another kill coming onto Crystal. Oh, with the dive in the mid lane. Paws picking up a kill there. Gonna be able to take the tower as well.
That was actually really nicely done by Paw. Getting the kill in the tower means that they didn't lose out too much from that exchange, but I just want to give Dark Passage some serious credit for that bait in the bot lane, pretending they didn't have the ward there, making Ishikawa think he was safer than he was, rather than using his dash to get out of that situation earlier. He got engaged on very quickly. Really nice mind games by Dark Passage there, something that I love to see coming out of them.
Yeah, really, really strong play from them, and able to bring themselves back into this game a little bit more. The gold is about 2,000 in advantage of Sample Text, but Dark Passage definitely showing that they are down but not out at this stage. And we have got 1 minute 20 until the dragon comes up again. We'll have to see.
Oh, Elwin, hang on a second.
In commanding lead, but we're going to see Elwin getting engaged upon. There's the death sentence. There's the play. He's not going to be able to get away from this one. Sebek's going to pick that one up with a final auto attack.
Really nice job there. Interrupting Ajax's farm in the mid-game like this is extremely important when it comes to beating him. You do not want him to get to a position where he is hitting, you know, for those extreme amounts of damage that he does in the later game. He has picked up his Triforce, though. That's a very important thing to note. Just like Irelia and Corki in the last game, that Triforce provides a huge mid-game spike to those champions when they pick it up.
Yeah, we're going to see the blue buff stolen away from from Dark Passage, sorry, right now. Sample Text looking very strong in this game. I'm interested to see how Dark Passage, what they do to try and come back from this. Obviously, the Grand Skyfall is available for Crystal Meth right now. There are a lot of wards in Dark Passage's jungle.
That was a very interesting decision to smite the wolves. Typically, you hear high-level players talking about the fact that smiting wolves generally isn't that useful. There, I can kind of understand it because they are being invaded and pushed into a lot, so getting that little spirit wolf to spot out your enemies is quite useful. However, they know that Dragon's coming up in a second. They don't have the smite available. How are Dark Passage actually going to contest this?
I don't know if they can right now. The wards are just being cleared away. There is a pink ward in this Dragon Pit. Dark Passage trying to get in on here, trying to get some vision for themselves, but it looks like Sample Text have a lot of control over this area right now. It looks like there is a sweeper available. Gonna clear that out, and with this ward in the back of the Dragon Pit, they still know that it's not been started off yet, but complete control of this area by Sample Text so far.
And here's the start. I don't know how easy it's going to be to defend this. Grand Skyfall comes in.
The tidal wave comes through. The Grand Skyfall picks up the kill onto the Dragon. Shikava going to be the first one to fall. Now Grom has to run away on the front line. The Ignite going to pick up the kill onto Crystal Meth, but now Sebex on this front line gets obliterated. Now Paws gets exhausted, so he's not going to be able to do the damage he needs to. The death sentence onto Padden is not going to be enough. Grom's going to go down as well. Another kill picked up onto Naru, and a 5-man ace for Dark Passage.
That was amazing play by Dark Passage. The amount of kiting around that their various carries did in that was so good. Naru actually hardly got focused at all in that fight due to the threat of Padden, who's picked up his Trinity Force, due to the threat of Elwin, who's got his. Padden, in the flashing red there, he nearly fell, but kited away very nicely, very cleanly, and obviously had the backup from Velistraza helping him out there too. Pantheon at the beginning, Crystal, picking up the dragon with the Grand Skyfall meant that that trade went so heavily in favor of Dark Passage that if I'm Sample Text right now, I'm starting to worry. That was just crazy. Jax picked up, I believe it was 2 kills in that fight as well. He's 4 for 1 for 4 right now. He's not that far behind in CS compared to Ishikawa. He is going to start to get very scary now. Samputex need to have some way of dealing with him. Unfortunately for them, Ishikawa has gone for a very unusual Renekton build, or at least unusual by the standards of when we used to see him. He's gone for Blade of the Ruined King. That is not a normal Renekton build. Previously, we saw him going for the Hydra or a very tanky build with Sunfire. Not having that is going to mean that he is going to actually not be able to continue to duel Elwind as this game progresses.
Yeah, we'll have to see how this one pans out for him. Obviously, it's an interesting build path on Renekton purely because you don't really auto-attack that much, and a lot of the gold you invest in Blade... Oh, really nice death sentence is going to go on to Naru. There's the stun. Following that one up, the ultimate is available, but Rom gets obliterated by the team. Naru actually baiting that one out, knew his team was nearby, knew they could follow up on that.
Yeah, that was really nice. Yet again, it seems like the story of Dark Passage is that they're doing such a good job of reading their opponents. They knew that they were going to go on Naru there, they set up the counter kill, and even though they're not securing the same kinds of picks that they were last game, they're doing a good job of just abusing the fact that they know exactly what Samputex are going to do and translating that into kills and objectives. Dark Passage are playing so well right now. This is miles above their performance a few weeks ago when we saw them in the Black Monster Cup.
Yeah, doing an incredibly good job, and clearly have improved a lot since heading onto that world stage as well. Obviously the roster has changed up slightly, but we could see Ishikawa in a little bit of trouble, pushing up very aggressively. There's going to be the Sonic Wave though. They know exactly that all 5 members are there and they're going to have to back away.
Yeah, thankfully for them, that Sonic Wave gives vision. Obviously, Lee Sin needs it because he's blind, but the rest of his team needs it if you're going to be stuck in a situation where you're about to be ambushed. Really nice job by Kanzi-san spotting that out, predicting that they'd be in there in order to get that. But, you know, Baron has just spawned. There's still no dragon for a while, but the only outer tower still available for Dark Passage to take is in this bot lane. I feel like they need to commit some of their time to doing that very soon, because at the moment they keep having to send members bot lane to push that out because the tower isn't doing it for them, or at least it's not doing it for them frequently enough due to the fact that it's so far back towards their base.
Yeah, really not being that effective just yet. And taking a look at the gold right now, Dark Passage have done an incredibly job to snowball that into a, or to turn that deficit earlier on. We saw them, they were 2k behind before, and now 1,000 gold ahead. And with a dragon on either side, this playing field is looking incredibly even, and the towers as well, exactly even, mirrored across the map, 2 each. Actually, we're going to see 3 each now, or 3 on the side of Dark Passage, and they're going to be able to extend that gold even further. So Dample Tex, despite having an incredibly strong early game, starting to look like they're in a bit of trouble.
You know, part of the problem is that as you proceed into the mid-game, we can already kind of see Renekton starting to taper off in his power, and had he gone for a tankier build, he actually might have been a little bit more useful. The question here is going to be, can Renekton burst someone down early enough in the fight? Elwin is about to find out.
Yeah, Elwin trying to jump onto Ishikawa, not quite going to be able to get that one. A nice slice and dice, and a jump straight across that wall. And actually,
but he's getting engaged now.
Elwin could be in trouble here. The Phage movement speed is not going to be enough because the Blade of the Rune King is going to slow him down. There's the stun coming out from Renekton, but Elwin using his Leap Strike to jump to his friendly minions. There's the Sonic Wave. It doesn't land though, and Elwin going to be able to get away from that one safely.
Really nice escape there by Elwind, actually, dodging the second Sonic Wave so there could be no more potential for follow-up. Thankfully for him, and this was a little bit lucky, there was a minion wave coming up at the right point for him to use that Leap Strike away, stop himself from getting CC'd too much out of that. Kanzi-san potentially could have gone for the Insect Flash kick there, decided he didn't want to risk it, especially due to the fact that there wasn't really enough vision down the lane itself because the first tower hasn't been killed, meaning that they didn't know if any backup was coming soon. So now Dragon is up in 30 seconds. There's no Dominus available for Ishikawa. That's a big part of his power in fights. It provides a lot of AoE damage, a lot of health, which is very important, and the ability for him to move around a little bit, you know, less at risk of being bursted down.
Yeah, it's gonna be really good for him, but oh, the charm just missing out onto Grom there. Had that landed, that potentially could have been a kill. Spirit Rush was available for Naru there, but not quite going to be able to land that. There's the sweeper going to take away both of those wards. And, nice little defensive play there by Samputex. They're trying their best to stay in this game and stop the bleeding right now, but they are 2,000 gold behind. And it looks like the dragon has been started by Dark Passage. but it looks like they're trying to bait this fight out. They have a pink ward. They're going to be able to clear any vision, and kicking off this dragon, it looks like this could be theirs for the taking. Ishikawa does have teleport, but he's up in this top lane. It's already very low. The smite is available. That's going to go down. Second dragon of the game coming across to Dark Passage, and this is not good for sample text.
Yeah, and actually they're trying to take a blue buff away here. Thankfully for them, the pink ward is more of a priority, although they're not doing it fast enough, actually. Dark Passage coming in here, they're going to be able to steal this away, too. All they lost for this was that top lane tower, which I think they're happy with. Elwin going to try and get the kill on Ishikawa, though.
Oh, gets the stun. Ishikawa not going to be able to use his other stack. Yes, he is. Elwin chasing this one on, has the movement speed from his Phage. The damage being traded across by Ishikawa. This could be a kill for Renekton. The flash from Elwin is going to just save his life. Can he get away, though? He's running to the wrong side of the map. Rom is going to be here. Here comes the man drop, though. The support from his team is going to keep Elwin alive. The culling comes through, though. Poor able to pick that one up. Now Crystal Meth is going to flash away. He's going to be able to get it out. And actually, Naru now using the Spirit Rush. The charm doesn't land, though. Neither does the Over the Deception. And actually, a lot of damage straight across from Lucian. Padden able to pick that kill up. Now Kozdi-san is trying to do what he can, but not going to be able to get onto that one.
That was a really nice job by Dark Passage, making the most of a bad situation. Turns out Ishikawa can do a lot more burst than we originally thought by picking up that Brutalizer and Blade of the Ruined King. He popped Elwin very quickly, and as well, one of the best things about the play from Ishikawa there was that he came into the fight when he had his cooldowns up, and then used both of his dashes away to get out. Then, as soon as the Leap Strike came in from Elwin, he flashed away, still waiting for the cooldowns. As soon as they were up, Elwin and Ishikawa both knew that Ishikawa could win that fight. Elwin had to try and run away. Fortunately for him, Crystal Meth was close enough to grant Skyfall in, and the rest of his team came for backup. But that nearly went very, very far south for Dark Passage, and actually, Ha getting the kill onto Elwin is definitely not what you want. He hasn't been having an amazing game so far. Before that, he was only 2 for 1 for 2. Getting those kills is a big deal, especially on your AD carry. They really need that source of consistent damage as we move into the later game.
Yeah, we'll have to see if they're able to continue to get that. And I mean, the 6 assists on Corki are nice, but it's not what they need. They need him to be picking up the actual killing blows. He's pretty far behind in farm right now. Actually, Crystal Meth getting caught by the Scatter Week, but not going to be followed up on. And as I was saying, Paw is doing an incredibly good job to pull ahead of Padden right now. 30 CS up, and obviously has those two kills up on him as well. But across the board, we are seeing the gold lead being slightly in favor of Dark Passage.
You know, talking about items, Elwin's now picked up his Blade of the Ruined King on top of his Trinity Force. He is getting scarier and scarier, and when you've got a team composition like the one that we see from Sample Text, and you're up against a Jax, you need to make use of your early game very effectively. You need to make use of the fact that, you know, Lucian's got a relatively good early game. Ishikawa on Renekton has got an amazing early game. Sebix, as you move into the mid game, starts to do a lot as well. Lee Sin, obviously, great early game. They did a decent job of that, but when they lost that fight on Dragon due to some superb kiting from Dark Passage, it's put them in a position where they couldn't really do enough before Jax got strong. Right now, what they're relying on is catching Elwin out like they tried to do in that top lane if they actually want to win some fights. They haven't been able to do it very effectively yet, but you can see, just look at the crazy amount of warding coming out of Sample Text in that top jungle. They're trying to catch someone out because they know that Elwin wants to be split pushing. Unfortunately for them, he's decided to go bot lane as soon as they invest all their money in wards for that top jungle.
Yeah, and they do have a really nicely placed ward around that Dragon Pit area. They put it just next to that wall so that the pink ward inside the pit won't be able to spot that out, and they're going to have some vision of that, so they know Dark Passage aren't starting this Baron off just yet, and that's going to mean that they don't have to go into that jungle and face check anything.
There's an interesting item pickup here by Sebix as well. He went straight for the Rabadon's Death Cap rather than... Oh, hang on, Elwin, though, might get caught out here.
We're going to see this 1v1 between the top lane that's happening again. There's the Counter-Strike, does manage to get the stun, but a nice trade in favor of Elwin. Does manage to get more damage down, but Ishikawa are going to be able to sustain a little bit off this minion wave. Obviously, his Q does give him a lot of health back when he uses it on multiple minions, but nothing going to come off that despite the aggressive engage.
Yeah, it was a nice attempt there, and Ishikawa's doing so much damage, actually. He's also managing to build towards that Randuin's now. If you look at the gold comparison between the two top laners, it's actually very, very close. Jax is not very far ahead, and you can see it in the fact that... Oh, Nara needs to be careful not to get engaged on here. Ooh,
there it is. baiting out the Spirit Rush actually there. I like that play from Positive Sound.
Yeah, as I was saying before, Ishikawa trying now to get that tank item. If he does pick up that Randuin's before too many more items go on to Elwyn, he is certainly going to be able to win those duels because of the attack speed slow and the armor and health that he gets from that. But it's an interesting choice. The build that he's gone actually does let him deal with the split push from Elwyn very nicely. The problem is that in team fights, if they both teleport in, Elwyn's going to be doing a lot more. So he really needs to prioritize killing Elwyn in the side lane. He's been trying to do that, but not to a great deal of success yet. Looking at the mid lane items, Rabadon's Death Cap picked up on Sebex, rather than Azanya's, even though she's been getting popped very quickly by all of the damage on Dark Passage. It's a very ballsy decision, but again, if they can pop one of the priority targets on Dark Passage, it could pay dividends.
I'll have to see if they're able to get that pick that they so desperately need, but obviously, with the Mikhails on Velistraza, it's going to be harder to get those kinds of picks. Obviously, you can just cleanse away one of the CCs on a teammate, so I'll have to see if Velistraza is able to get that and able to save a teammate's life with that heal or with that cleanse, but looks like Dark Passage setting up for this third dragon of the game, and in all honesty, right now, this is all of the action that we're seeing. Every time the dragon comes up, Dark Passage are just able to take away this for free, and I really feel like Sampotex needs to try and do something about this, but they're just not willing to go for these fights right now.
Yeah, it's very difficult for them to engage into a 5v5, and part of that is, like I was saying, you know, some of the build paths aren't really designed for that. Getting that death cap means that you're good at popping people, you're good at picking people. Going for the build that Ishikawa's gone for means that you're good in small skirmishes or 1v1s, but you're not great in team fights. If you look across the board, that you can see that pattern again and again coming out of sample text. They do not want to 5v5, and I actually think that's very smart. When you're against an Elwind on Jax who's going into the late game, you don't want to 5v5. He's going to do too much. However, if you can pick him off in the side lanes, like I keep saying, that's what you want to be doing. Similarly, Sebex might want to try and pick someone off. However, Dark Passage aren't letting it happen. They're staying relatively close to Elwyn. They're only pushing a lane away from him rather than pushing the bot lane whilst he's split from the top, for example. And here's where we might see an engage command. Ishikawa, he's so squishy against Naru's damage. That Orb of Deception chunked him down to half health. How are they going to defend this much?
I don't know right now because, I mean, the second that bubble landed, Ishikawa just got... his health bar just got taken in half immediately, and we're seeing as well, Crystal Meth is pushing away in this mid lane, has his ultimate available, so if anything does kick off, he's going to be able to use that to just jump straight into this bot lane, and right now, all Dark Passage needs to do is not engage this fight. They can just stay there, keep everyone in the bot lane, but we're going to say Ishikawa coming in with the home guard. Elwyn going to be the target right now. Has his ultimate available for those defenses. That's the charm not going to land from Naru though. Here's the man drop though onto Grom. Grom is not really the target they want though. Nice Sonya's from Naru. Going to block out that ultimate from Syndra. Now Ishikawa going to be the first one to fall in this fight. Paul trying to get away. Padden in a bit of a 1v1 now. Has the Valkyrie over the wall. Velistraza flashing the wrong way here. Gets caught up by a death sentence. Bit of miscommunication there. Mikhail's not going to be enough to keep him alive. Paul's so low. But here comes Elwyn on cleanup duty. He picks up one kill. We see Padden pick up another kill as well. Now Paul's going to be the target. There's the leap strike. Another kill coming in for Elwyn. Should be able to finish this one off. Grom not going to be able to get away from this one. Should see a flay coming out from the leap strike, but not even in time. Triple kill coming in onto Elwyn.
That was an absolutely insane team fight, and it could definitely have gone the way of Sample Text. They made one mistake, which is that Sebex did not help try and kill Elwyn. Elwyn lived on literally about 1 health. You could not see any of his health bar on the UE. It was ridiculous. And because of that, he went back to base, home guards, teleported in, cleaned up the fight. Had he not been able to do that because he was dead, that might have looked a lot different. Crystal might get caught out by Ishikawa here, though.
Yeah, Ishikawa trying to get onto him, but doesn't get the second stack of his slice and dice there. And actually, Crystal Meth might be able to steal away this red buff. Anyway, Elwyn arriving. Not afraid of the enemy team right now. And this could be dangerous for both teams right now. The Dragon Rage going to come through. Elwyn able to pick up that red buff. Very aggressive play from him.
Yeah, Elwyn is starting to just do so much. 7-2-7 now. Last game, I called him the MVP. And this game, I'm starting to think I might need to do the same thing again, because he is just doing such a good job, especially considering that he was in such a difficult lane matchup. Renekton was really bullying him out early. He also fell behind due to the fact that Ishikawa got a great teleport gank in the bot lane, taking up 2 kills and almost a tower. But somehow he has still managed to farm up relatively well, only 10 CS behind Ishikawa, and he's also managed to pick up so many kills just by virtue of the fact that he's been roaming around doing a lot of fighting. This top lane, though, Nara needs to be careful not to get caught out by those guys. There is a Grand Skyfall available, though, so Crystal can just split push as he likes. No teleport for Elwyn, though. He's going to have to stick with his team for now.
Yeah, and he's going to be more than happy to do that, obviously, on that Jax. Is one of those champions that's very good at split pushing, but also incredibly good at team fighting. So, looks like they're heading towards this sort of barren area, trying to get some vision coverage of that. Obviously, we do see Sample Text having some nice coverage of their side of the jungle near Baron, but not actually having much coverage of the river area in that Baron, which is really the important bit to have vision of. And we're going to see a nice rotation from DP, going to get some damage down onto that top tower, deciding to back away. They don't want to commit too much to this. They don't want to get caught into a 2v5, but they are going to be able to get that tower.
Oh, Crystal!
Actually, the death sentence is going to land onto Crystal, but Grom decided he doesn't want to follow through. He's going to get absolutely burst down. Had him picking up that first kill now. Ishikawa trying to get away, but a nice counter-strike is going to pick up another kill. Elwind with his 8th kill of the game there, and now they're pushing towards this top lane inhibitor tower. This could be disaster for Sample Text.
Yeah, that was a little bit of indecisiveness coming out from Grom. That resulted in him sticking around way longer than he should have. Now we see all the waves coming. Oh no! Oh,
he gets annihilated. There's a 2-man counter-strike as well. Sevex is going to go down. A double kill comes in from Corki. A beautiful phosphorus bomb. There goes the inhibitor. This could even be the game if they keep pushing. They have 30 seconds on the death times. They don't have many minions, though. Are they going to be able to do this? I'm not sure. Grom, the only one standing right now. If he goes in on his own, he may well die. There's a Nexus tower going down, deciding they don't want to push it too far. But picking up a Nexus tower is definitely not something to be sniffed at.
Yeah, Dark Passage just playing it safe here. I really like their decision to do that. Obviously, this is a quarterfinals match. If they win it, they go into the semifinals. They're already one game up against Sample Text. They do not need to push their luck here, and by not doing it, they give themselves a much better chance in the end of winning that final prize, the Black Monster Cup, which they so desperately want. Dragon's up in a few seconds. Crystal's going to try to... He's very low health. I'm not sure he can actually take it out. Obviously, Dragon's scaling and doing a lot more damage than it did on the 4.19 patch. However, if Dark Passage pick this up, they're going to be getting their 4th stack of the Dragon buff. That is some serious bonuses. If they get to the 5th stack, I don't see what Sample Text can do. That's just so much damage for free.
Yeah, and Crystal Meth doesn't even take damage from this. Obviously, he's playing the Pantheon, so he can just solo that comfortably without even taking any return damage. And that's going to be the 4th dragon coming across. They now have the extra damage onto the towers, 15% I believe it is, and that is just going to be able to potentially secure them some extra inhibitor towers when they go in for those siege scenarios. They're just going to be able to knock down those towers that little bit quicker, and it's starting to look desperate right now for Sample Text. 10,000 gold behind, half of the kills, half of the towers, and not a single dragon to the name. Oh, actually, I say that, I believe they did get the they did get the first dragon.
I believe. After they picked up a kill in that bottom lane. But, you know, even still, that's not very much. They've got the 8% attack and ability power boost. But they're 5% slower, they kill minions slower, they kill towers slower. It's really a situation
the TP, though.
Oh, here we go.
You see Ishikawa going in. He's trying to get onto Naru with Spirit Rush. He's going to save his life. A nice tidal wave. Going to block out the team, but here comes the man drop. He's going to jump in on Ishikawa. That's a kill for Crystal Meth. Now, Pause is on the front line, gets ignited, gets caught by the leap strike. There's the counter strike. Elwind picking up yet another kill. Grom now going to be the focus target. He gets stunned up. A double kill for Elwind. They're pushing in towards the end of the game right now. I don't think there's anything Sample Text can do to stop this. They will at least get an inhibitor tower. They might even just go up towards that top lane to push that one out. Looks like they are going to go for this inhibitor tower, but with that 15% extra damage, they might be able to take the game off this. Pushing forwards. There's the surrender vote. Ladies and gentlemen, Dark Passage convincingly take the victory in this quarterfinals.
Yeah, I cannot stress enough how well played that was by them. They fought against a very early deficit that was